Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
Now, we had a question from one of our viewers. They want to know, how does snitching work in prison? Well, let me tell you something about those motherfucking rap motherfuckers in prison. See, you got dudes in prison that are straight pieces of shit, and they're working for the popos up inside there. And you know what they get rewarded with? Cigarettes, hamburgers, food from the street, maybe a porno book, maybe even drugs. And see, you got people who basically all they do is sit around and watch other people so that they can get in their business. So you really got to watch yourself up in there and watch who you hang out with, watch who you tell your business to, because these dudes, man, they're up in there and they're undercover agents. They ain't got nothing else going on. Some of them are lifers. Some of them are in there for maybe some punk ass shit, and so they're working for the popos so they don't get exposed. And they have no get up and go about themselves to try to fight their case or do anything positive. So all they do is sit around and get in other people's business. And what they do is, say for instance, you may be running the poker table. You're getting your money on, you know what I mean? You got money floating around, people owing you. Well, this motherfucker, what he'll do is let the popos know roughly about how much money you're making, what he thinks that, people owe you, and in exchange for that, the popos will go shake you down. They might even shake you down for some cash, you know what I mean? Or they might say, hey, we're gonna shut you down unless you do this. You know, they use these snitches to barter things for them. Say another instance would be if you're running a store in prison where you're selling commissary out of your locker and you're making money doing that, or you're selling books of stamps. You know, they keep the popos informed of all this shit. They're like the the investigative reporters of the prison internally. And how they actually transport the information is that they'll act like they're going to mail a letter out, and they'll slide it under the door slot for when the mail gets picked up, but it's actually called dropping the kite. And so they'll drop that kite on you, and in the morning, the popos will get the information, and then what'll happen during the day is they'll come fucking shake your cell down. And that's the type of bullshit that's going down up in there. These motherfuckers up in there working, and you'll see these motherfuckers, they don't never really shop or do too much as far as store, but they'll always have some food in their locker. And that's because the popos are bringing them commissary. They're looking out for them because they're looking out for the popos. And that's what type of shit they're doing. But yeah, man, you have a lot of snitches in there, so you got to be careful who you talk to. And just because a dude has tattoos and a shaved head and he acts like he's a gangster, don't mean he's a gangster. So watch your business, keep a lot of shit to yourself, and don't be gossiping, because like I said, these dudes will get you caught up. And sometimes if you're talking and maybe telling war stories, they'll use those war stories to try to see if they can get time off by getting another charge against you. I've seen that happen too. Dudes go and report something that they said happened, a old crime or something like that, and try to get you caught up with more time. So you gotta watch yourself, man. These motherfuckers are sneaky. It ain't no different than the Aaron Hernandez thing. Now they got a gay lover coming out. Well, motherfuckers can make up anything for a pack of cigarettes. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? Be wise in who you talk to, because they have jailhouse snitches who are bitches.